and Jules would be getting his rear end beat on, and I'd be over there giggling because, you know, he was the loudmouth of the team. But I love that little yelling. I could imagine Belichick sitting over there going,
all right,
Christ, that guy yelling.
You have no clue.
I have no clue.
No clue.
But anyway, I can only imagine.
God. Today we have a very special guest. We have my father, Coach Frank Edelman.
Baby Belichick.
And today we are looking at the 1998 Pee Wee Pop Warner National Championship Semifinal. What was life like for the Edelman household back in 98?
Oh.
What was your coaching style?
So we'd have 30, 31 guys. I would do everything in my power to make every kid quit.
Frank, do you think your coaching style would translate well to 2024?
No, I'd be put in jail. Jules, this little white boy, would get in fights with these big Tongans, and I'd be over there giggling because, you know, he was the loudmouth of the team. Julian was that way. At practice, he played full speed. Everyone hated him.
He always had shorts, hat on, croaky, sunglasses, shirt tucked in, fanny pack.
What's in that fanny pack?
There was always a pack of cigarettes.
Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. Welcome to Games with Names. We are on the search to find the greatest game of all time, and we today have a very special guest. We have my pops, Frank Edelman, and we'll be talking about the 1998 Pop Warner Pee Wee National Championship Semifinal against the Naperville R-Words. We get into talking Pop Warner, life as a coach, life as a Pop Warner guy, what it was like growing up in our household, Coach Edelman's coaching techniques.
Unique, to say the least.
Unique. Very unique.
What your teammates thought about you, too?
Very not unique. And what it takes to win a national title in Pop Warner football. And then we wrap it up by hitting the hotline with Frank.
The people left messages. They want some Frank talk.
Well, we're about to give it to him.
That's
we'll
right,
see.
Baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
December 9th, 1998. Walt Disney Worldwide World of Sports, Orlando, Florida.
Led by a 12-year-old Julian Edelman, the Redwood City 49ers are on the cusp of immortality.
Okay, Dad.
This is the 1998 Pop Warner National Championship Semifinals.
Welcome to Games with Names. Today we have a very special guest. We have my father, Coach Frank Edelman, or as he likes to say, Baby Belichick. What do you call yourself?
Baby Belichick. Yeah, that works.
And today we are looking at the 1998 Pee Wee Pop Warner National Championship Semifinal between our Redwood City 49ers against the Naperville R-Words. Yeah, I don't think
you can't say that.
You can't say that anymore.
They're now the Chargers.
Huh?
They're now the Chargers.
They're the Chargers now?
Naperville is, yes.
They changed from R-Words to Chargers?
Yep, adopted another NFL team's identity.
I know, but I don't think that really fits with the area. Is there a lot of lightning storms there? Yeah, actually, it gets pretty crazy over in Chicago.
It could be. It's tough if you're not even the Bears. Come on now.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Coach. Coach Dad. Coach
Yes.
Dad, why did you pick this game?
This was a really exciting moment for us. But I got to say one thing, you guys. These podcasts, with all this swearing that you guys do, and this is going to be a G-rated podcast. We're going to call this the Huey Lewis podcast. That means this is a no swear zone, and it's hip to be square. So anybody who swears in this podcast is going to get a $100 fine, and it's going to go to Rich Eisen and the Thomas family for, I think it's St. Jude's. So that's my request.
I like that.
Well, I
down
wish
with
I
that.
would have requested this in 1998 when this football game was going, because I specifically remember you motherfucking me
Well, ding, 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 ding.
or any other child with a huge chewing tobacco lip. And I would go back home and I just hear at random bar stories, hey, your dad used to yell at me and I had a piece of chew in my face. I've heard that probably 15, 16 times. So I'm glad that you thought over your little, this is for St. Jude's. I wanted to donate $100, so that's why I said that. St. Jude's Charitable Foundation, because of Rich Eisen, because of the 98
Danny
year.
Thomas, Marlo Thomas, that girl. Yeah, I just think, we could do that. And what I was is not what I am. Things change. You age and you become better. And that's what we do as humans. We did what we did and we do what we do, and now we're better people. So there, son.
Thanks, Dad. Now, is this the greatest game of all time, Dad?
Well, we didn't answer the question. Why this game?
Why
first?
this game?
This game, first off, for a Pop Warner team, this is back when there was just one group of teams that go. And I don't mean I like now that we have participation awards. We have A, B, and C teams. More teams can go to Florida and play. But it was absolutely spectacular. I mean,
So why this game, though? Why this?
because this game against Naperville, this guy ran. This was our toughest game. At the Super Bowl, we played Texas, and the Texas R's.
Also
Uh,
the risk.
also
the
R
risk.
words.
Yeah,
Also
also the R word. But this team was it was a battle. I mean, it was just a great battle. It was our first taste of competition in the national championship game, and we won. I mean, geez, everybody wants to go, but winning is just awesome, icing on the cake. So that's why I picked this game.
Okay. Is this the greatest game of all time?
Well, it's tough. The problem with when you have a son or a child that plays Pop Warner and then plays high school and then plays junior college and then plays college and then goes to the pros, I mean, Julian never quit playing football. So parents that have children that play in professional sports, it's like, whoa, they just keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. So I would say this is the best Pop Warner game ever for us, but we've played a lot of games since.
Now, is this the most memorable game of Pop Warner? Like when you think back on our Pop Warner career, I mean, you were in 10 years before me because of my brother, and you stuck around until I got there. Was this the most memorable game for you, and why? Or is there another one?
This was the toughest game for us, by far, the toughest game that we played. But every game was memorable. I don't have one specific game that is, memorable. I do remember, the game that you fumbled 4 times, and I remember the game that you dropped 2 touchdown passes. But those aren't very memorable to me, but I do remember them. But in this case, I would say this is probably the most memorable game we've played.
I think it's complete bullshit. I never
think
fumbled
we're
4
getting-
times.
Wait a minute. Ding, 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 ding.
That's
That's
$200.
another
Thank
$200 to
Thank
you,
Thank
Rich.
I got the running tracker going over here, so we'll tally those up at the end.
I also think I know you got your NFL film shirt on.
Yeah.
I think you're giving us some NFL Films answers here. This isn't
Coach
Rich
Frank.
Eisen interview. This isn't a Tom Curran thing. This is your son's living room on his podcast.
Yeah, but I tell you guys, the problem is it's just been 27 years since I played this game. And, you kind of,
What do you mean 27 years since you played this game?
well, I coached this game since you've played this game. So, it's tough to say. We've played a lot of football. And I don't mean to be, I will say I probably would have been put in jail for child abuse when I was a coach, because that was a different time. And, nowadays you got to give them cotton candy, when they score a touchdown or when they do something wrong. I'm teasing. But, it's a different time. So I tried to adapt to the times.
How does this feel? Like Kyler said, you're in our living room and you're making your podcast debut. This is your podcast debut. How do you feel, Pops?
This kind of reminds me of, You know, the old, you know, who would be, who's the gunslinger back in the day? Give me a gunslinger's name.
Jesse James.
Jesse James. I mean, by the time 2024, Jesse killed 275, never lost a fight, da-da-da-da-da. So the legend has been built. I am really nothing but a little Pop Warner Little League coach with a son that continued to play, and I have great people around me, as in Kyler and Jack. I appreciate my son, you know, building me up.
I'll keep building you up. The response in the Twitter world was resounding. When we put out a little breadcrumb that you might be coming on,
Well,
people were clamoring.
Well, I tell you one thing. We love Boston.
Yeah.
We love New England. And I don't know if we should be living in California. We're more New Englanders than we are Californians.
I like that.
But I appreciate it.
Frank,
guys.
you've got a saying, when you're
You're green, you grow. You're ripe, you rot. And I'll tell you what, that continues for everything we do. I don't care if you're the best chess player. I don't care if you mow lawns for a living. If you're going to do it, keep learning, keep getting better at it, no sniveling.
You know, you're in coach mode.
Yeah, getting there.
In mentor mode.
Yeah.
How can we make this show better?
I think you guys continue to grow and continue to evolve, and I think you will find your way. That's what I think.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Pops.
Frank, I gotta say,
Yeah.
you used to call me every Wednesday after, you know, a show would come out and give you like the high level. I think Jules is doing good, and I think this is this. I think we could do better here. Like, come on, we can't get better with, you know,
Just
platitudes.
getting better. What makes you better?
Yeah.
There's only one thing that makes you better, and that's hard work. You know,
It's cop out. It's
no,
cop out,
it's
Coach.
true. I tell you what, you guys, I don't want to.
But for
My
improvement,
influence has to be encouragement and being honest with you, but I don't want to influence the 1980s on you guys. Oh, did you guys see? I watched something last night that was so awesome. I watched, what's the big band? I forget the name. You know, I
Bon
tell you,
Jovi?
I watched the Bon Jovi show last night, the 4-episode show. Bon Jovi is an absolute stud. You know, I tell you what, awesome. Bon Jovi, this one's for you. What a great show. That guy worked hard. He did everything that we discuss.
You never stopped believing.
He never
That's
stopped
right.
believing.
Never
Yeah.
stop believing.
Well, Frank, you're a bit of a musician yourself. Can you tell us about some of your Japan
When I went
tour
to Japan,
days?
yeah, I play a little piano. I used to anyway. I got to continue to. I don't play the piano. I practice the piano. No, we had a good time. We were a good little band.
What was the band name?
The band name was The Kids, and I.
How'd you get into the band? What made you join this band? What year was this?
This was, I think it was 1980, 1979.
Now you know why I can't speak, people.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't speak well.
No, we don't. There's no chance. That's what. But I'll tell you, back then in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of piano players. There was more drummers, guitar players, rhythm, lead, and drummers, and there wasn't a lot of piano players. So, I wasn't the greatest piano player. I had a great teacher, Louis Biancanello, fabulous. He taught me how to cheat, made me sound better than I really was. And then I met a guy named Mansueto Lynchie, great drummer, and he worked with Mladen Vukic, great lead singer, and the leader of the band was a guy named Mark Adams, and this guy was a fabulous musician, fabulous, and he taught me a lot. And you know, they hired me really because I look good. I looked the part more than I played the part. But you know, we were good. We opened for Huey Lewis, we opened for Journey, we opened for the Tubes, we opened for Steppenwolf. I mean, we played all the big clubs in the Bay Area, and we went to Japan, and we played at one place called the Bottom Line, but we were there for 45 days. It was absolutely awesome. But, you know, like there's an old saying, nothing good happens after 12 o'clock at night. So I had to get back to mechanicking. Like we always say, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree, right, Jules? But here we go, you know. And so I went back into being a small businessman in an automotive shop and coached my kids, and here we are today.
see, this is a podcast where we get the deep dive on like locker room talk. We Gronk talking about, pulling his dick out and shit like that, Dad.
Yeah, I get it.
What kind of
Wait a minute.
tour
Are we
stories
counting
are
those?
there?
We count
Okay,
those?
wait a minute. Okay, there, Richard.
Dick is fine.
No, that's okay. I'll give you that one. We got $200 so far for St. Jude's.
What are the tour stories, Dad?
The tour stories? Well, I was in love with your mom. And so, I really, and I had to practice a lot. So I always had to go out and practice. I do what I say I preach. I don't know the proper terminology for that.
Practice what you preach?
I practice what I preach. I had to practice a lot. And so while the boys were out having fun, I was practicing. Actually, I think I almost got in a fight with Mladen. I think I was going to beat him up because he was doing something, and I put my fist through a wall. And then after that, we came back and we broke up. I had to leave, but it was, it was an awesome experience. It was great.
You're kids. You're 19 years old, 18, 20 years old.
Yeah. I was 20, 21, 20. I think I left the band in 81. But no, it was great. It was awesome.
Frank, did you ever get to meet like Steve Perry or Huey backstage?
No, I was more of a hire on, and so I kind of stayed away, and I still had, I had to get ready to play. So I was like in a focus mode, just like when when I'm a little league dad, right? So all little league dads never sit in the bleachers with mom and dad. They're the weirdos out in the very back with a big mouth, yapping and yapping. That was me. So, that's
I'm
what
the
I
same
did.
way.
What was life like for the Edelman household back in 98?
Oh, it was,
Give us a day to day. Give us a day to day.
Day to day, I get up early, 5:30, go to work.
Look at my Jordans on those.
I know. Get up early, go to work. Mom would make the kids breakfast, take the kids to school. Mom always stayed home, took care of the family, my wife, Ange. And I'd go to work. I'd yap and yell at everybody. I was a hard worker. I pushed and pushed. And I was a real good mechanic. And I knew the game in automotive. And so I'd come home, 5:30. I'd grab Julian. Jules, let's go practice. If it was football season, we'd be practicing whatever position he was playing at the time. If it was basketball, I'd go rent a gym. If it was baseball, which was our worst sport, baseball was definitely our worst sport. I'd pitch him 100 balls, and I'd be pitching him BBs, and we'd fight. But Jules would argue a lot, and I'd have to do things that are uncommon for dads to do. Maybe not back then, but nowadays, like throw the ball at him, ground him for, going 1 for 3. Things like that. If a ball went underneath his glove, we'd go out after the game and I'd probably hit him 50 grounders, make sure his head was down. And by the way, I couldn't even play shortstop. Jules played short. I had to play third because I was a reaction guy because I wasn't good enough to play short. So it was just horrible. I was horrible. But you know what? I tell you, the bad news Bears were horrible. So you could call us the bad news Edelmans. At least it worked. We are what we are. And
so you're Billy Bob Thornton?
I'm Billy Bob Thornton, 100%.
Walter Matthau.
Billy Bob Edelman. But it is what it is. We were what we were.
All right, that's the average weekday. What's the average weekend look like?
Weekend was get up in the morning. The boys washed the car. I used to remember Jason, Jules on top of the car, his brother spraying him with water, making him cry, wouldn't let him get it down. We'd wash the cars, and then we would do the lawns, and then we went to our little secret place, A&W.
That was after baseball. Isn't there games on? Isn't there games on?
Yeah, that's right. We would go. Then we'd do the car wash. We'd do either a game or practice, and then we'd go to A&W and get a Papa Burger and a Coney dog and a root beer float. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, we were probably playing baseball. I don't even remember. It's been a long time. We were probably playing a sport. It depends if it was a season. If it was football season, we were playing sales. If it was football season, I'm out scouting. I'd run all over the Bay Area to scout every team. And I got to say one thing. Anybody who doesn't film the other coaches and the other team is full of BS. because everybody does. Okay? And I'll tell you something else. One of the best things we did, I lowered the ball pressure on every ball so my little 12-year-old could hold the ball. So all that stuff you're hearing is a bunch of mumbo jumbo picking on the Patriots for being great. FYI. So that's where I'm going with that. And if it was baseball season, we'd be out, play a game, and then we'd probably go out and, hit 300 balls and shag 300 grounders. And when his arm would get sore, I wouldn't let him throw to first. And basketball, we'd shoot 100 free throws, dribble right hand. I'd tape up his right hand, and he'd dribble with his left hand. That's what we did.
All right.
Frank, so a lot of people come in here, they talk about how great Jules is, and he was awesome at football, but, you said he's not so good at baseball. Can you give us some more details on, why he was not a great baseball player?
Actually, Jules, he was when he was little, 12, he was a really good shortstop. He was really good, actually. And Little League, he was good. As we moved up, he had a tough time hitting a curveball. So Jules liked to, he liked to hit the ball hard. But the curveball was the death of baseball for us. And then the other problem is Jules is quick growing. So he went into high school, at 5'11", 4'11" or something. But he was still a stud. I mean, really. I mean, when you got all these, gorillas running around in high school, and you got this little, monkey or chihuahua, that was Jules. He still competed. And those were the toughest years when he'd come into the room and say, Dad, when am I going to grow? Yeah, but I was that way. I was that way. So I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And then finally, end of his junior year, he grew, and then we won the CCS championship, and Jules was back.
What's the question?
I think Kyler was just trying to.
Am I rambling? I'm sorry.
What made you bad at baseball?
Yeah.
So to wrap it up,
He can't.
We shifted over. No curveball.
Got
Curveball.
Trouble with the
Curveball
curve.
was out.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was football, basketball, baseball was the top three kind of.
No, it was football, baseball, basketball. He was
Okay.
good at basketball, but I'll tell you guys, this was a great story. He played basketball, and his freshman year, and Jules was real fast, even though he was small, but he was real quick. He had great skills, and the coaching in basketball back at that time, the school we went to, it was all manipulated. So the coaches had their AAU basketball team come in and play basketball. The majority of the players were the AAU players. And Jules smoked these guys, but Jules knew nothing about basketball. But Jules would steal the ball, run down, score. I mean, Jules was scoring 20 points, and they benched him because he didn't know how to play basketball because the other AAU players, do you remember that?
Yeah, I was like the best. I was like the best one of the best basketball players in our little conference in the private school.
Yes. But when you got to high school, you were all over the place. They couldn't
Yeah,
stop.
but
But you
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
how
basketball,
to play. But you
'cause
didn't know basketball. That
Those
was
guys
my
were
point.
playing year round. Like I never had an eye or a feel for the game.
No, you didn't. And I agree to that. But
Because we didn't really. We would
athletically-
practice. We would shoot, but you didn't know basketball.
no, but I won hunch when I was in 4th grade. I won hunch when I was in 8th grade too.
What's hunch?
Hunch, they used to have these tournaments. It was 3-on-3.
It's like hoop it up.
It was like hoop it up. Yeah, it was the earlier hunch. But I was like you. I was little, but I was like,
I didn't know basketball.
No, you didn't. I didn't know team basketball until I got older and played with the 40-year-olds. Then I started figuring out how to play basketball a little bit as a team player.
But it was crazy because I played AAU for 2 years because they saw
Your athleticism.
yeah, and then I went to and then I played in the public school league with Jeff Langskoff's team. So I was playing in 2 leagues. Remember, I was playing in Mount Carmel,
Yep.
and then I would play for Jeff Langskoff's team
Yep.
because the private schools didn't play those, and I would always be able to ball in there. And then once I got to high school, it just I didn't
but
know.
they were also, you were small too.
Yeah,
We had that other fellow, that little point guard that was good. He knew
Humphrey.
the game. Humphrey, yeah.
Humphrey could shoot.
Yeah, he could
He's
shoot.
like 6'6" now.
Yeah, but
He grew.
he couldn't catch you.
No, I was faster and quick.
Yeah.
Remember little Aaron face? That dude was a badass. Aaron.
$300.
But you remember little face? That little dude, he was on a varsity.
No, I don't remember him.
He was really good. I forgot his name, but
Jules, what's Frank's fit in '98?
Huh?
What's Frank's fit in '98?
Always we shorts. He always had shorts or sweats, shirt tucked in, fanny pack, the football is life hat on, whistle, croaky,
That's it.
sunglasses.
That's it right there. The one with the guy filming me.
Yeah.
That was my look right there.
What's in that fanny pack?
You know, at that time, there was always a pack of cigarettes. Oh my God. Had to have my stogies there. Probably a pack of cigarettes, a dip, probably a tin at Copenhagen, wallet, my little coin pouch. Always had to have my coins. I think that was about it.
Keys?
Keys,
Essentials.
yeah, keys.
What
I
are
had
you
my
using
keys.
coins for? Parking?
Back then, you used coins for parking. I still have my fanny pack now with coins in it when I go to park, but they never take coins anymore, so it's a problem. But I do like to.
What about that one
No,
time?
I'll tell you what I do like to do is when I'm in a line at the store and everybody's in a hurry and they go, it's $30.27, and I pull out my coin pack and I pull out the 27 cents and then I give them 7 pennies instead of a. And they're all like, hey, you know, I count pennies. Jules yells at me all the time. I count pennies. He counts dollars. That's a.
What about the one time where I saw you put a blue pill in your fanny pack? I didn't remember.
Well,
you came back.
As you get older, you guys are going to learn what blue pills are. Now, we really can't talk about those today, but they are an enhancement in kind of a way.
You juicing?
No, you just take them. It works well when you have a couple cocktails and a blue pill. You're ready to roll.
All right, Coach. Let's get back to football. Football Frank. Don Juanito Frank is. We'll put that in the back burner. What was your approach to coaching? What was your coaching style?
Fundamentals. Everything had to be fundamentally sound. And like your brother said, I would run one play at 36 power, 45 power. We would run that 40 times. And 39 times it was wrong. And we'd get it till we got it right. And you know that. And, you know, we would go strength on strength. We'd have 30, 35 guys was the max on a roster. So we'd have 30, 31 guys. I would do everything in my power to make every kid quit. But I'll tell you what that did is that little tub kid that would come in that never played a game of football. And, you know, mom and dad wanted him to play football to be the next Joe Montana or something. And this kid has no concept. This isn't flag football. Flag football is great, but tackle football is a whole different thing. And even at that, you know, level, these guys are lethal. And so some of these kids would come into practice the first day in August, and they couldn't even do a push-up. Didn't even know how to do a jumping jack. I'd put all our new kids and our heavyweights and, you know, lamos, but I don't mean that in a bad way, inexperienced players. I'd put them in the front of the pack, and then I'd have my studs in the back of the pack, and we'd run around the field or run around the track. And that way, the rookies or the heavyweights or the inexperienced players wouldn't be able to fall behind. So my team would always stay as a team. And the guys in the back, like yourself, Jules, would push those big guys when they'd start crying and sniveling. They'd push them, and we'd stay. I'd slow it down. So it's all about being a team.
What about the kid? You talk about the kid that is inexperienced. Where's this story going?
Well, where the story is going is when that kid came to me, he had no clue. If that kid hung on, and most of them did, by the end of that season, that kid would do 20 push-ups, jumping jacks. He would learn what football's about. He would be a better man.
He'd be a confident kid.
He'd be a
More
confident
confidence.
kid, and he would be strong, and he accomplished something. Sense of accomplishment is real important, and it can start at a low, young level, and that's what we would do.
How was Jules as a 10-year-old Pee-wee football player?
Well, I used to listen to, like McCourty said, I couldn't stand Julian at practice, but I surely respected him. And then he won Super Bowls. Julian was that way. At practice, he played full speed. Everyone hated him. But everyone loved him because he'd make everybody play hard. Back then, I used to have to go to different areas. I'd go down to East Palo Alto, where the black community was, and I'd recruit because there wasn't a Pop Warner team there at that time. I'd go to East Menlo Park where the Tongans and the Samoans were, and I'd recruit. Then I'd go to Redwood City, was kind of known as the tough white boy.
We had Samoans and Tongans too.
Yeah, but it was East Redwood City, Menlo Park. It was way over.
That was
in the
Redwood
east side.
City.
I get it, but back then it was more over there. I'd go over to the other side of the, on the border of Palo Alto or Menlo Park and Palo Alto, and I'd put on little clinics, and those kids would come out, and we would give them scholarships because most of them didn't have, money, and so we wanted to make sure that these kids would play and get an opportunity. I was also president for 3 years, and so we were building our program, and so if you, at least in football, if you get a good mix of demographics.
Where's this rambling? What is the question?
How is Jules as a youth player?
And so we would get all these different kids.
But I like hearing about the
This is why we used to fight. When I was like 10 years old, he'd be rambling on me.
I'm hanging on every word over here.
Jesus
what I was saying,
Christ.
what I was getting at is Jules, this little white boy, would get in fights with these big Tongans, and I'd let him fight for like a minute, and Jules would be getting his rear end beat on, and I'd be over there giggling because, he was the loudmouth of the team, yelling at her. But I love that little yelling. I could imagine Belichick sitting over there going,
right.
Christ, that guy yelling.
You
at those
have
guys.
no clue.
I have no clue.
No clue.
But anyway, I can only imagine. But anyway,
God.
he was a pain. To answer your question.
Yeah, answer the question. All you got to do is answer a question.
Hold on, I got another follow-up question on this one. Frank, you hear the horror stories of the Pop Warner parents. We got a sense of how you deal with the team and the kids. How do you deal with Pop Warner parents?
Oh, they let me do anything I wanted. No, it was horrible. It was really bad. I mean, the biggest thing about Pop Warner back in those days, I don't know what it is now. It was all about weight. So anytime you're dealing with weight, wrestling, Pop Warner, and our weight was 105 for a heavyweight and it was like 85 for a older lighter, 75. I can't remember, Jules. So we always had to make weight, but we got a pound a week once the season started. So the first game was 105, second game was 106. So these kids would come in camp at like 125, my linemen. I'd be recruiting these big boys, and they'd come in heavy. And so then we would run them till they died. Death. Run, run, run. And then the parents, we'd have meetings. I'd have a scale there before practice. We'd run them. I'd have a scale after practice. Okay, you dropped 3 pounds. Mom and dads would, all the heavyweights would come in. I'd go, this kid can't eat. This kid can't eat. And I swear there was this one kid. I don't know if Mr. You were awesome. He was a veterinarian. And this kid had to drop. He didn't have a lot of weight to lose. And he had to drop like 20 pounds. And he was trying to be an older lighter, older.
You said he didn't have a lot of weight to lose.
He didn't have a lot of weight to lose.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have a lot of weight to lose. Right. And I am convinced on Jamboree Day, which was your final weigh-in day, he walked, he could barely walk. He was yellow. I think he was giving him some sort of dietary pill from dogs or animals. Because this kid, he was a mess. But the answer to your question is, these parents let me do anything they want, and they were all a part of it because they just wanted their kid to play football. And I'll be honest, we had a great time. It was awesome. I'm embellishing a little bit, but not really.
Frank, do you think your coaching style would translate well to 2024?
No, I'd be put in jail. No, 100%. And like I've said this in the past, swearing is so easy now. Everybody, it's so cool. It ain't cool.
You're just old now.
It
you
ain't
used
cool.
to swear more than anyone I know.
I know, but I would swear in the huddle, and those little 12-year-olds and 11-year-olds loved it, and I would do it in a timely manner. And they'd look at me and go, cool, coach.
Question for you, Jules. So obviously your experience with him as a coach is biased. How do you think the other players viewed your dad as a coach?
I already said, I'd go to local bars, and anytime I go back from college or early in my career, and I'd always have a bunch of guys that would come up to me and, talk about how, yeah, your dad was so hard on me. He made me want to quit, but I never quit, and I made me better. I've heard that a few times, and it's always cool. My dad did a lot for the community. A lot of the kids, he was around for a long time. He was like the president of Pop Warner, and, a lot of times I don't necessarily, he didn't come from a family He didn't have that. And a lot of these kids that he would help out didn't have families. So, like, I don't know if that was a connection or he just wanted to win. But it was probably a mixture of both.
Yeah. Well said, buddy. There's nothing wrong with teaching kids to give their best effort and go out of their box and apply themselves. And those are, I see it every day now. I mean, all parents have gotten it. The secret is be with your kids. There's no secret. What's the secret? The secret is pay attention to your kids. Be involved with your kids. Don't drop them off and say, see you later, coach. Don't drop them off to a teacher and say, okay, it's your responsibility, teacher. Do your job. Be a parent.
You've been watching way too many fucking Patriot documentaries.
Dude, my son played for the Patriots for 12 years.
Christ.
You know who he may be?
This guy.
Ding, 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 ding,
Let's
ding,
go
ding.
back
We're
to
at 400.
Let's go back. This is a segment where we go back in time around the game. This just so happened to take place around December 9th, 1998. Number one movie, A Bug's Life. I actually remember this because there was a Bug's Life ride or something at the Disney World, and they were I think they were pressing it real hard at Disney World during this game. So I think we even got something. My dad won't remember that, but I remember that. I could be completely off, but
I'll do a little digging on that. But
We'll
I
do
like
a
the
little
sound
digging.
of that.
You remember that movie, Dad? Bug's Life?
Don't remember that movie at all.
What
At
about
all.
R. Kelly and Celine Dion's "I'm Your Angel"? Is that a main song?
Yeah, Celine Dion. I mean, oh my gosh, you kidding me? She's awesome. I would be more. Waterboy was awesome. I still watch Waterboy today.
Still holds up.
Titanic?
Titanic was great. It was
Love Titanic.
Love Titanic. Private Ryan. I mean, are you kidding me?
Something About Mary. It's so funny.
I didn't watch that one that much. You know, back
That was
in
more
those,
that was more of a kid. That was
Yeah,
more
yeah.
you didn't like funny humor like that.
No, I was Rambo all the way, and
Armageddon
you know that I was over
with
there.
Bruce Willis. This is a great movie
Yeah,
year.
Armageddon was a good movie too.
Also, Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski was also
Big
98. Just a
Lebowski.
great movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one that much. Yeah.
What about Big Songs? You're Still the One by Shania Twain. Love Shania Twain. She was beautiful.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, that's a great song. Are you kidding me?
Hey, Pops.
Yeah.
Pull that.
Oh, my belly, Sean.
Yeah.
My wife would get mad at me. How's my turkey neck look, Max?
Strong jawline.
Oh, man. Big Songs. Getting Jiggy with It with Will Smith.
Man,
You know what? That was Will Smith was great, boy, but he put himself in a pickle, huh? but I was always a fan of him, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
How Do I Live? Leanne Rimes. Remember her?
Yeah, she was good. I wasn't really a country fan, but yeah, but Shania's country, but she was like
She crossed over.
Trans-
though.
she
Transcended.
crossed over.
But
yeah.
so did Leanne Rimes.
Yeah,
Leanne
she did
Rimes
too. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Frank, when we're on the way to practice back in the 90s, what are we bumping in the car? Tune-wise.
No, there was no
music?
No,
Okay.
it was serious.
No, what are you bumping in your car? What are you bumping? That is bullshit.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, crap.
No, going there. I was in a hurry to get to practice. I rush home, get the gear set up, put that. You know, I spent more time at practice than I did at work. I had to put together a practice
I
schedule.
thought you worked from 5 to 5, and then these numbers.
No, but I still. Well, the nice thing about Pop Warner was it didn't start till 5, and I could. It was like 5:30,
7:30.
right? But we were supposed to be done by 7, but I practiced till 8.
7 we didn't.
No, I was kidding. I'd go to 7:15, 7:20 though.
All right. Did you watch Seinfeld at all? You never watched it.
No,
You didn't watch TV sitcoms.
When I was little, when I was younger, it was with work. You
You
Nikki.
didn't watch TV.
I didn't watch TV back then.
This is the final year of Seinfeld.
Now I watch TV.
Yeah.
And this was the year where that little blue pill got approved by the FDA.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
Thank you.
In the sports world in 1998, NCAA national champions were Tennessee. I think I remember that.
They won after Peyton left, right?
Was that the year after Peyton?
Yeah, I
this is
can't
the first
remember.
BCS championship too.
I do remember Ricky Williams though. That Ricky was awesome.
Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams. I mean, he was a monster.
Yeah, monster.
Super Bowl champion was Denver Broncos. NFL MVP Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
This is when they finally got over the hump. Was this was in their back to back?
This was just Shanahan
First
years.
one, because
wasn't it?
97. Who was 97? Was this our second one or
I
their
think
first
this might have been the second because 99 was the Rams Titans. Yeah.
97 was Packers.
This was
beating the
Elway?
Yeah,
Patriots.
Packers.
This
Yeah,
was
but the
Elway
season,
and
not
Shanahan.
the year.
I hate those.
Broncos
the
won.
worst.
So the Broncos won January 25th, 1998. That was Super Bowl 32. They beat the Packers.
So this is the first.
That's the first one because Packers were trying to go back to back.
The year before the Packers won. Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to be biased.
Be
What?
biased.
We bet.
Oh, you want me to be biased?
No. Well, let's hear it.
Okay, well, Tyrell Davis is
Terrell
in the Hall
Davis.
of Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame.
All right, we don't want
And
to.
there's some things his numbers are a little low. Huh?
He's an NFL. He was
Yeah,
he was the
but-
MVP of the whole league.
Yeah,
His thing is he had
That's right.
his like 3 or 4 seasons were like some of the best running back
Yeah,
seasons
yeah.
Seasons
ever.
in the
It's
history
that
of the
zone
game.
blocking
Yeah.
scheme.
You won 3 Super Bowls in 6
All
years.
right,
Yeah,
Bubs,
okay.
all right.
You told me.
Jesus.
I'm
Little
just
league
saying.
dad.
Little
League dad.
I'm a little league dad.
ABC and ESPN negotiate a $1.15 billion per season contract to keep Monday Night Football.
I'll tell you what, there was nothing better than Monday Night Football.
Oh, back then.
That
big
was
Dennis
back
Miller
then.
guy?
And I'll tell you what, I used to love the Steelers and Terry Bradshaw and Len Swan, and I love that group.
You probably saw a lot of the Steelers. 'Cause there's only-
Steelers were on all the time because they were the champs.
They weren't on Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football was this is the 90s. That was the 70s. That was 20 years prior.
Weren't they on then?
No.
No, I think they got the contract.
They didn't. No.
Oh, I think they would still have the contract back in.
that was probably CBS.
Let me double check the Monday Night Football.
In the 70s,
history.
there was 2 networks. ESPN wasn't around yet.
No,
They
so,
came in 79.
so I think what this is saying here is that ESPN got a part of when ABC and ESPN kind of bought each other, merged or
Merged.
whatever,
Yeah.
keeping the Monday Night Football on ABC. ESPN
Who's your
product.
favorite Monday Night Football announcer? Or who's your late night like
that's-
Howard Cosell, John Madden?
Yeah, it was John Madden for me. Cosell was great, awesome, but I would say it was John Madden. I love the turducken and you know how he do his little
Not
thing.
Booger McFarland?
Yeah, it was.
Boogermobile?
Yeah, no, it was all the way. It was, and I what was that? Peyton Manning. God, I love
Selected
Peyton.
number 1 overall.
Peyton Manning is like the man. Besides Tom Brady, I mean, Tom Brady's obviously number 1, and Joe Montana obviously is number 2, and Peyton Manning is obviously number 3.
All right.
All right.
Final NFL season for John Elway and Barry Sanders. So this was their
So-
second one.
The 98 season is John Elway's final.
I hate
Yeah,
this
it's the
with
fucking
sports.
worst.
Well, we're in the 98. We're the game's in December of 98, so we're
Yeah.
dealing with the 98 season.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
they
game we're
were
talking
all,
about today.
They
Yeah,
were
but
awesome.
that Super Bowl
Barry Sanders.
is in January 98.
What do you remember about Barry Sanders?
No?
January of 99
January of 99. So
for
the
the
second.
98 season.
The second one. Okay, yeah.
I tell you, Barry ran the ball like no tomorrow, but I just couldn't figure out why they didn't win. I mean, what is the objective of football?
Yeah, they didn't have a quarterback.
Winning.
What does that have to do with what does that have to do with anything?
I'm just. You asked me the question. I said Barry Sanders was great, one of the best running backs in the world.
Who's your best running back of all time? God, this guy's getting.
Frank, if
Well,
you-
you said who's my best running back?
Who's your best running back of all time?
And we're gonna watch his game a little later.
Frank, you know what Barry Sanders' dad thinks is the top 3 running backs of all time?
What?
Barry Sanders' dad says the number 1 best running back
Jim
of all
Brown.
time,
Yeah.
Jim Brown.
Yeah, that's
The
typical.
number 2 is himself,
Yeah.
and the number 3 is Barry Sanders.
Yeah, you know. Jim Brown, I mean, what do you say about Jim Brown? I say one thing about Jim Brown. That was one of my favorite movies ever, The Dirty Dozen, when he ran when they were bombing the Germans and he had the grenades and he ran and was dropping the grenades down the chute.
Bill Belichick thinks Jim Brown's the best running back of all time. I've heard him say that. He said it was a man-child.
Yeah, he was a man-child.
Best
There's no
lacrosse
question.
player of all time, too, people say.
Yeah, best lacrosse. I think that's why I loved him too, because lax.
Gotta be.
Those Thompson brothers.
There's just too many good players. I don't know how you can, it's hard to rate them.
I can't believe you just tried to correlate winning with a running back like
Well, the
Barry
game,
Sanders.
I think
He was on the
You
worst
asked me the
franchise in
question.
the national. He's literally on the worst franchise in the history of the NFL game. You think it's his fault, and the guy still had 2,000 yards?
He plays on concrete.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your, like, come on.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
Frank,
You
who's
asked me, though.
Frank, who's a better quarterback, Joe Montana or Steve Young?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I tell you what. We love Joe Montana. And when Joe left, we hated Steve Young. It was pure hate. Hated him. I like Steve Young like 10 years after because Steve was a fabulous player. I mean, his throwing percentage was off the charts. I think he's number one. He was great. But no, Joe Montana was our guy. We loved Joe Montana.
What'd you love about Joe?
Everything. Yeah, Joe was just, I don't know what it was. It was just, besides 4 championships, winner. Winning does matter. I mean, that is our main goal in this sport. Winning. You know, there's a lot of good players that play out there.
Yeah,
But what is it about?
what is your agenda?
What
on
is about
your
that?
whole narrative of this
No,
thing?
but what is about?
Who-
What
who
is
are
it?
you talking to
what
before
is
you
it-
came into here?
What is it about winning?
God.
Why do some players win and some players don't? I don't know.
It's a team game. Not one player is going to make a whole team win.
I don't know.
Not one.
I don't know.
Not
Telling
one.
you the way it is.
Little league dad.
Total little league dad.
Let's talk about these dudes. Who's your
Wait a
favorite
minute.
49er
Do
of all
you have
time?
a mic so I can drop it? Bam. 4 Super Bowl, 3 Super Bowls.
Hey, well, you know what, Frank? I think I know what you're doing. Keep it up because we just learned that, not to put it out there, but certain people that get elected to a certain place in Ohio, they get lifetime membership to Topgolf. So we're really trying to.
Who is your favorite Niner of all time? You guys sound like
I don't even know what Top Golf is. I got a softball swing. Who is my? You know who my favorite 49er is?
Joe?
It was just Joe. Everything's Joe.
Why was your number 44 then? Why was everyone's number 44?
Because when my brother played, my brother's deaf, and he played at the Berkeley School of the Deaf back in the 60s, and he was number 44. So my brother taught me how to play football, taught me how to catch, hand position. Yeah, I love my brother. So that at 44, that was kind of our number. You know, that's kind of where that came from.
All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this game. Jackie, can you set the stage for these Naperville
Yeah, so
R words?
the Naperville R words here, because this is a Pee Wee game. This is Pop Warner. We're gonna do our team section a little different today. We're gonna put a little twist on it. We're gonna profile the area since we don't know a ton about these kids.
This is 98.
We were watching the game. We've seen the whole game. 98 these rosters. It's a fool's errand trying to find this.
There's nothing on the internet.
We scoured high, low, everything. We're just going off the announcer on the game that we heard. These huge kids. I mean, I want to check the birth certificates, but we'll get to that later. So Naperville, Illinois here. We'll do a quick little rundown of the area itself, some of its notable native sons. Population, 149,540 as of the 2020 census, 28 miles west of Chicago. So it's in the greater Chicagoland area, as they call it, right on the DuPage River, the state's fourth most populous city. And it was the home of the Office Max headquarters up until 2013. That's a tough loss for the community. And some notable natives, as we're calling them, Chris Redd, comic, remember him on SNL, Bob Odenkirk, Sean Payton, Cameron Brate, remember him down in Tampa with Tom.
Yeah.
Owen Daniels,
Harvard
another
guy, too.
NFL. Oh, yep. Harvard guy. Candace Parker, she just retired.
Parker.
What a great WNBA career she had. Andrew Santino.
Santino's from Naperville?
Yeah, they claim him on Wikipedia. What do you think about that?
I knew it was Chicago.
Chicagoland guy.
That's Chicago.
Yep. So yeah, kind of your classic Midwest suburb city. They had and they played some good Pop Warner football back in the day.
Yeah.
Owen Daniels is close to age to be a part of this Naperville organization, Pop Warner.
Owen
organization.
Daniels.
He might have
wanna-
been slightly younger or older than you, but he's in the ballpark.
How old is he?
He was drafted in 05.
He is 41. You may remember he had he was a 4th round pick out of Wisconsin, played from 06 to 2015.
06
Texans,
draft.
Ravens, Broncos. He won a Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos,
Yeah, I
and
remember
made
that.
2 Pro Bowls.
He made a double move on Jamie Collins. He was a tight end, right?
Yep.
Or he did that double move.
I don't remember that one. Damn.
Damn.
So that's a little high level on our opponents today, Naperville.
All right, Pops. What was the scouting report of this team?
None. We couldn't find anything. You know, we were from Redwood City, California. We tried our best. Scouting is really important, but we couldn't find anything on this thing, so we had to just wait to see, try to make our in-game adjustments. And I think I was peeking around when I got there to go find their practice field so I could watch them. You know, I'd probably film them or something. You know what I mean? While they're practicing, normal. But you know,
Are you insinuating that?
He's not Baby Bill. He's Baby Ernie.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
No, what are you?
I don't know what I'm trying to tell you.
You didn't do that.
I did do that.
No, you didn't.
You trying to tell me I didn't film everything?
All right, I don't get in this. You're putting on a show right now for the cameras, bro.
No,
You're putting on a show.
No.
You're putting on a show.
Kyler told me, he said, I want you to tell the truth and be football Frank. And I said, okay. And I'm telling you, we would try to find every bit of information. I would run around all weekend filming every team.
All right.
Am I wrong?
You
What
didn't
we do
film
on
the
Monday?
team's coaches. You filmed just what they were playing.
Well, a little bit embellishing, but not too much.
Jeez.
Just a bit.
How do we? What did they do? What was it? What kind of offense did they run?
Well, they ran the wing T, and they ran it real well. They, and the biggest problem we had, the wing T was definitely, we didn't know much about the wing T in Redwood City. And I learned a lot more about it when I went to the Super Bowl, because a lot of teams ran that wing T. The biggest hurdle we had is we ran 5 fronts in where we were from, California, and they ran 6 fronts. So, they were running that 6-2. And so we had a tough time at first figuring out how to block it.
Jack, why don't you break down the Redwood City 49ers?
The Redwood City 49ers, we'll do a quick overview of Redwood City, the municipality. Population, 84,292 as of the most recent census. The 100th largest municipality in California. 100th largest city, town, incorporated area in the state of California.
Okay, it's 100. Okay.
It's in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
27 miles south of San Francisco, 24 miles northwest of San Jose.
Right in the middle.
That's always the hub. You know, it's funny you say that, Jack. I never knew the mileage because Redwood City's always known to be in the middle.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
It's right before Silicon or
the harbor. Yeah, the Pete's Harbor was where the boats would come in.
It's a tech hub, as Frank alluded to there. Oracle, Electronic Arts, they make Madden, EA Sports. They're in Redwood City.
Also, shout out to the Redwood Shores Pullman Hotel. The best night of sleep I've ever had in my entire life.
Redwood Shores. Shout out. Same fire department.
Isn't Redwood City also where the 49ers practice facility is?
Yeah, right across the street where me and Jules used to go over there.
Oh, heck yeah. Hence the name, the Redwood City 49ers. And some notable natives, we got to run through these real quick. Of course, the man right here in front of us, Julian Edelman.
Wow.
Devontae Adams, they claim him on Wikipedia. They claim Redwood City. Roy Williams, Reagan Smith, an Olympic swimmer, Greg Camarillo, and of course, our friend Kurt De La Rosa.
Kurt De La.
Curdy.
Casa De La Rosa.
Yeah, Casa de la Rosa.
That's right.
Wow, I didn't realize we had so many great guys from Redwood City.
Yeah, Devontae. I think Devontae was born there and then he moved to East
Palo Alto, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little, do you claim him, do you not? But we'll claim him. We'll claim him for this episode. And since we are talking to a former member of the Redwood City 49ers, the former head coach, we got a little intel on this roster. So we can go through these guys, the coaching staff, some notable names. We got him up here on the screen.
82 Moreno, 49 Alapate, Spence Garrison 32.
Shout out Spence.
PJ Pignotti was 16. He was our quarterback. Chris Reese was our kicker, I think guard. 44. Koji Yamagata, number 80, lived in Foster City. Steven Aros, one of my bash pros for a long time, number 20. Tony Barnes, played with him for years. He's one of our linemen, 55. Tafa Papunu, number 27.
You got to add a couple more coaches up there, though.
We had
Mike
got on the
Flynn.
coaching staff here.
we had also Billy Ring was on that team.
Billy Ring, you got to add Billy Ring.
Third.
Yeah.
Who
His dad
else?
was a 49er.
Yeah. This is off dome.
Yeah, this is off. Don't like this is.
With the coaches, we got to put Mike Flynn up there. He's my buddy.
Shout out, Mike.
Shout out Mike. And Matt Flint was out there.
How'd you get into coaching?
Or your brother. We started, I never really, I played 1 year of football, half a year. It was weird. I had a weird upbringing, and I played at Sequoia my freshman year until my mom moved away, and then I moved away. I was in Redwood City, and then we moved to Sunnyvale. And when I moved to Sunnyvale, and I was like, I was little. But I was pretty good. But I don't know what it was. I always loved football. I loved Roman Gabriel. I loved Slater. I loved the Rams. And gosh, you're catching me off.
So it inspired you to coach because you love the Rams?
I just love football. My brother played football, and I love football. And I just never really had a real opportunity to play. I was really good at flag. But flag is not the same as tackle football. All you flag players, it's cool. It's fun. But it ain't the big boys. So anyway, I just loved it. And so when Jason, your brother, joined Pop Warner, I just became involved. And I started working as the equipment manager. And I just, then I met Guida. The Guida family was like the godfathers of Pop Warner in our area. And
Coach Guida.
Coach Guida.
Ed Guida, Frank Guida, Bob Guida.
Yeah, the Guida boys, the Guida men. And I just got involved in 86. And I started going to coaching clinics. And I started being an assistant coach. And then I moved up the ladder.
Swag? What was his name?
Steve Swag.
Swag.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Owned Copy Mat.
He did. He was a president before me. When he left, I became president. He was actually a great president. He's a great man. He's a good man. I learned a lot from Steve. Smart.
What made this team so special?
Well, one of your goals in Pop Warner at that time, we wanted to boost up. When Steve left, I can't remember it was then, but we had to go to 5 football teams. So if you have 2 junior Pee Wee teams of 35 on each roster, and you're moving into the next level, which is our level, Pee Wee, my level, and you would go from 70 kids to 35 kids, and then you would have better players. You'd have bigger rosters with better
farm
players.
system.
Bigger farm system, exactly. So we were able to put that together. And then it comes down to recruiting. So if you go out and recruit, if you're just waiting for your players to show up like some of these cities did, not everybody would play. But if you go out and work,
Who'd you recruit?
I told you. I went down to the east side. Ask your mother, ask anybody. I'd go down there. I forget the name of the park. Yeah, I'd go to the east side, and I'd put up little 49er sign-up signs, and we'd go push it. And I used to put out all the plaques all over the east side, and we'd get the phone calls, and that's how we would get, better players and more players. And, so once we went to 10 teams, which was five, and we had 5 cheerleading teams. So, back then when you're president, it's different. You're looking at cheer and football. And so we were able to go from 8 teams to 10 teams.
More farming system.
More farming system.
Special team.
All
Why
of
is
that.
this team special?
Because we had more kids. I did a lot of recruiting, and we were able to put together a lot of good players on one team. It wasn't just they didn't show up. We worked. Your dad worked for that.
All right. What are some of the coaching techniques or that you would help with these kids? Did you do anything special for lineman techniques or anything? How did you get a 12-year-old to execute at a high level?
First thing you got to do is you got to get steroids. So once
starting
you get
on
them,
dog diuretics.
you got to get them you got to make sure they can take a shot and everything's good, and then you get their strength.
He's joking, by the way.
I'm just joking. That's for dummies.
Frank, I've heard about these legendary songs. They used to get these kids to learn these lineman techniques.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the number one thing in youth sports is fundamentals. We'd spend a lot of time on set positions. we'd spend a lot of time on how to get off the ball.
What about the gaps?
Okay, then
The line.
we would have to create. We created songs, so especially for the offensive line, and we would. What was our song again?
Head up to play.
Head up the play side. If you're in the gap, we block that gap unless it's a trap. So the number one thing is understanding who to block, understanding the game. So we would spend a lot of time on our offensive line, knowing if we have a guy head up the play side, that's who you would block. Unless we're trapping, we would take the down block. And then on the defensive side, we ran the numbers game. We 90% of the time we're in a 31 position. Our inside guy would take the guard would be 1, his head would be his inside shoulder would be 1, and the head would be 2, and his outside shoulder would be 3, and then the tackle 4, 5, 6. But anyway, songs, fundamentals, and doing the play 40 times until you get it right.
That's perfect.
Let's get into this.
Getting into the lead up of this game, let's set the stage. We are down at the wide world of sports, Orlando, Florida, Disney World Resort. Only a year old at this point. Started in 97, we're in 98. So this thing is brand new. Brand new. The Redwood City 49ers, not only were they undefeated this season, hadn't let up a single point all year. This is true.
True.
That's incredible. Insane. And then just a little foreshadowing here on the rules.
Our
We talked
defense,
before.
I got to say one thing,
Yeah.
but our defensive coach was great.
Is that you?
That was me. Hey, our offensive coach was great
All
too.
right.
That was me.
Yeah. Full size, baby.
So no one helped you with anything.
Not when it come to offense and defense. I had
What else
position.
is there?
I had position coaches.
They didn't help with anything. You sound like an eye guy.
No, it was we.
You sound like an eye guy.
No, it was we. But I had
Jesus
line.
Christ.
I had Eric. Eric helped my offensive line. Matt helped. Everyone helped.
All right.
Matt, but I still ran. I was a coordinator on both sides. I made the calls.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Little league dad.
Totally.
Can you place us? So you've won a few games to get to here. We're now in Orlando. There's still one more game after this. If you win this game, you go to the Super Bowl. Just give us a couple game placement of where we are.
Yeah, so we went undefeated, I think 10-0, and then you play a playoff game.
2 playoff games.
I thought North section takes the
Well,
second.
then you go to the regionals.
No, we had to
So
win 4 to get to
we-
Florida, didn't we?
I think we had to play Sunnyvale.
That wasn't the first one. That was our second game.
Oh, that's right. The first one was that the mud game, Mountain View
That was
at Bay Cities.
maybe. No, that was Coyote Creek the year before.
I think we
could've
played
been-
3 games. Do we play 3
You
games?
play a game, then you go to North Sectional. We played Sunnyvale. We beat them.
and then we played Oak
then
Grove
we played Oak Grove
for the championship.
and then we went to Nevada and played a Nevada team.
Yeah.
And then we came to Florida. So
Thi-
this was our 15th game. How many was it? 15th game?
I got a
We were
story.
16-0.
I got a story for you. You think I'm a whack job, and it's okay. We were up in Reno, right? And Joe Tobia was our commissioner, and we were playing that Nevada squad, and they were kind of good. You
Yeah,
knew
they
that?
had that. They had a tough white boy running back,
Yeah,
32.
yeah, they were kind of good.
He's
and,
big, but it was only him.
and I think we only beat them 28-0.
And I think we beat him 33. We had a 3 in the middle.
And like at halftime, Joe comes to me and goes, "Why ain't you whooping their butts? What's going on? Are they that good? Or what? Why ain't you whooping them?" I was going, I had to get my 4 players done. I can't remember, but it's like, so I'm not the only whack job. Our commissioner was saying, "I want you to whoop these guys." Joe.
Love Joe.
Yeah.
He ran that thing.
R.I.P.
Joe, I'll tell you another story. So, you want me to tell you the story?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So, back then, Jamboree was your final weigh-in date. So you had to suck these kids down. I'd always come in with heavyweights and older lighters. The older lighters they were tough. Guys like Jules and Aros, you had to make sure they were 12 and under like 85 pounds. And that was always tough, but those were your bucks. And then you had your linemen, 105 of the heavyweights. So Jamboree Day, they start August 1st. When you get down there on the 31st is your last day. And you have to make sure your kids are all making
This is
weight.
the first weigh-in. This is the official weigh-in.
This is the official final weigh-in to make the team. So
It's like a big thing. It's like an event.
It's a big event.
There's no game, but all the teams are there to have weigh-ins.
Right. And so when that happens, you know, you have to make sure, like, we'd get up in the morning, everybody would take a big poop. I'd have remember I used to have the guys with me, like Reese, the big heavyweights. I'd have them spend the night, and we'd make sure they go poop in the morning before we go down. And then we would go meet at the gym. Remember the gym?
And they'd be spitting the whole time.
Yeah, spitting. And we'd go meet at Gym West. There used to be a gym down there. And we'd go, oh my gosh, you know, we needed a real official scale. And he'd be like 3 pounds over. So there was this really foggy room there. You know, it was like kind of hot inside. And we would put those kids in that little foggy room, right? And
For how long?
Up till they turned into raisins. And we put them in that room, you know, because we had to drop 2 or 3 pounds, and we had to be official, you know, and so we would do that, right? And so then we go to Jamboree. We were the only guys that did that. Nobody else would do that. We were the only ones. And we won the Super Bowl. We won the championship. And so after the Super Bowl, Joe Tobia calls me and goes, hey, what? He goes, Frank. I go, what? He goes, I got film of you at Gym West sucking down players. I go, no, really? And I go, where'd you get that? He goes, I go, the coach I fired from the midgets that used to wrap his kids in plastic bags and have them run. And he goes, yeah. I go, what do we do? He goes, nothing. I'll take care of it. So Joe, thank you. I don't know if you can use that.
He manginied you. He manginied you.
You know what I mean?
He manginied you.
He manginied me. He manginied me. Exactly. But anyway, that was the story.
And Joe let it go?
Joe let it go.
Yeah, there we go.
Joe let it go. Because you know why? Because I was the only guy that did that. Huh.
All right, let's get into this game.
Let's run through this game. I was not at this game. Kyler was not at this game. We have 2 primary sources with us here today.
Yeah.
And we had this game on DVD. We watched this thing from kickoff to the final whistle before we started this episode. It was awesome. Let's run back through it. To set the stage, it's December 9th, 1998. We're in December, Orlando. It's 83 degrees today.
Was it? Did you look it up?
Yeah, 83. I was looking it up.
They had that on file.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so much hotter because it was humid.
Oh, yeah, the humidity was through the roof that day.
And we didn't know humidity.
Bright,
in
sunny,
the
not a
West
cloud in the
Coast.
sky. It was insane.
But I just remember the football fields, like where you know, in the 90s, there wasn't the turf fields. There wasn't turf fields yet. So you go to high schools and they were dog shit. There'd be fucking dirt passages in the middle and stuff. And I remember when we walked on this field, we felt like pros. Remember that?
I do. Yeah, that's kind of when soccer started getting in, girls' sports started getting in, and all the fields were ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing, you know, when we were running and I was president, and we had to keep the fields clean, and we had to start rotating. And then, you know, prior to that, there was only football and baseball. That was all there was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, soccer came in, and then girls' sports came, all good stuff for good reasons, but it would abuse the fields. And then the fields were just turned into mud pits. And then that's when this AstroTurf and, you know, the different turfs started coming in, which was right.
It's an anti-turf podcast, but I digress.
Yeah.
Back to the game at hand here today.
Tangent.
Big size disparity. I mean, these kids, if we could go back and look at birth certificates.
No,
like, to
just
get my
one
eyes
guy.
on a couple of these.
35.
One guy for sure.
35.
He's so big, it felt like it was 10 guys, though.
He looked like
35, Spike dominating.
The running back?
Full Danny Almonte, running back. They were lining them up all
What was
over
his
the
name
place.
again?
Oh, man.
We don't
Anthony, was it Petronelli?
Petronelli or something. Yeah.
Penzili.
Naperville.
I don't know his name.
He
if anybody knows Naperville and
Naperville 98 team, call in. We
gotta
want
know
to
this
comment
name.
because
Yes.
we want to see his goddamn birth
Ding,
certificate.
ding, 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 ding.
Oh, crap. $600?
God
That's
damn it.
$100, Rich.
Hold on. Anyone actually who was a part of this game and knows any more information, please call our tip line.
Yes.
Yeah, please call it tip.
Seriously. So to start this thing off, we're struggling to move the rock. The Redwood City 49, we can't get
No,
anything
I
going.
think first drive we fumbled. Or no,
They
the
fumbled.
They
Yes,
fumbled.
first drive,
The
we
big
get
boy
gashed.
fumbled.
35 gashes us on a draw play up the middle.
Yeah.
Second play, force a fumble. We're hype. Can't do anything with it. But that leads us to the other story of the first half, which is Steven Arrows. Punting, I mean, it's like Johnny Hecker out there.
Steven Arrows by far was the MVP of this game.
Insane.
I mean,
Steven
not
was.
only just in the punt game, but we'll get into later. He had the screen for a touchdown on defense. Like, he had great plays because this was a tricky like wing T defense. But
Yes.
Go ahead. The
First
punting.
time seeing the wing T offense that year, as we mentioned earlier, that Bear front, like, we had our hands full. And then you look at the difference in the game, and it comes down to special teams and flipping the field. We're flipping the field every which way. Sure, we got a punt. I think it was 6 punts in the first half.
Ooh.
I mean, we're flipping the field, and Frank talked about it when we were watching it. The importance of it's a hidden weapon in Pop Warner is having a good punt game.
Punt game is important.
Very important. Special teams.
FYI.
And
That's why they
plus,
call him Baby Belichick.
This is our first time punting.
Yeah.
But not
No,
only
we had a good punt team. I worked
We barely
on that.
punted.
That's true, but we still had a good punt team.
in the second quarter, Steven Arrows doing more great Steven Arrows things. Picks up a first down on a fake punt.
I don't think it was a fake punt. I think it was about to get blocked, and he pulled it down.
That was no
a
fake
veteran
punt.
move.
It worked.
It was,
That was a
I
veteran
didn't,
move.
I didn't do
Improvisation.
that. Yeah, no fake punt.
But in the second quarter, the levee finally broke. This little play action counter waggle seam pass that Naperville was loving to 35.
Yeah.
It was working, and then it finally got them down to the goal line. They ran the same thing, punched it in, number 35. But
In
they
the
missed-
air.
In the air. But they missed the PAT, so we're down 6-0 at the half. Third,
But real quick, just because rules, Pop Warner at this level, a PAT kick is worth 2 points, and a 2-point conversion or run the ball in is only worth 1 point.
foreshadowing.
Yes.
That'll come in handy.
And
big.
then also, this was the first time you guys were scored on all year.
First time scored on all year.
Well, who almost cried? What was going on there?
I was almost crying. I was devastated. Fucking terrible loser.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, geez, $700 bucks. St. Jude's. We're building a whole new wing on that thing after this episode. But halftime, down 6-0. A lot of oranges consumed. We're getting our vitamin C. We're getting our hydration back. Frank, do you remember any of the messaging or any of the speeches going on at halftime in this one?
Yeah, it was just we had to play physical.
Yep.
That waggle, we had to hit that quarterback to make sure that he knew what was going on when he'd come out of that waggle on the backside, and we had to stop that big boy.
Oh my God.
And so the message was gang tackling, hit him. Sorry.
We remain scoreless for most of the third quarter. Finally, down in the waning minutes of the third quarter, we got a drive going.
Sorry, I want to go back on one more thing. Sorry, Jack. You had a quarterback, PJ, broke his wrist a game prior to this.
Our starter.
Can we talk about him for a second?
Starter, we go and we played Oak Grove. And he was a great little quarterback. Because like in Pop Warner, you throw the ball maybe 4 or 5 times a game, maybe 3. And PJ he'd be able to dot it. You know what I mean? He'd always hit either Koji or we had these little running back release plays. And in like garbage time, after we're blowing out Oak Grove to go, was it Oak Grove or was it in the?
I can't remember.
I think it was.
I think it's Oak Grove. I think it's commented on the DVD. Yeah.
He broke his arm and Talfa Papuno had to come in. And Talfa Papuno only had 1 game under his belt, and that was in Reno when we played against the Nevada team. And then, so like this was a big game for Talfa. I mean, backup quarterback comes in, and just like for 12-year-olds being able to get a play communicated, running an offense. I mean, there was a couple fumble snaps here and there, but I mean, the kid hadn't played all year.
It's like losing your best pitcher when you go into the Williamsport.
Yeah.
I mean, it was devastating.
So
But we
the
did run
backup
the ball
started.
a lot, so.
The backup started this game here.
Backup started this game.
But PJ got in the game in the second quarter.
PJ came in.
What's the coaching decision on that one?
Now, if I remember right, PJ was our quarterback, and we went to the championship, the national championship in Disneyland, and PJ wanted to play, so we rigged it up that his cast he would have a free hand. He broke his wrist. That's a common break in Pop Warner for kids, and he just wanted to play, and so we made it happen. that he would be able to play in the big games.
Making dreams come true.
But he only I think he played what?
He probably played
He
8
came in a
plays.
series
He
and I
didn't
think
play
he hit
quarterback,
or
he just
something.
came
May have
in.
got hurt again or something. But
Yeah.
he had a little spark. I think he had one reception.
Shout out to PJ. Then
Shout out to PJ and Talfa Papunu.
Papuno and PJ. Love you guys.
great
great
guys. They really Brady Bledsoe that thing. Late in the third quarter, we're driving. Earlier in the game, we tried the middle screen a few times. Wasn't quite there, but it was showing signs of maybe this could work. Maybe this is something we can exploit. 25 yards, I believe, to Steven Arrows.
No, I think it was like 65.
It was a long, I mean, it was like,
I
he
think it
busted
was-
through that thing.
I think it was like 60, 75. It was like a 65-yard screen.
Screen
Was
works.
it? Was it?
The yard marks weren't very
Yeah, it was-
super
it-
clear on the
was hard.
480
It was a
footage.
screen.
We'll go
It
with
was like 50
65.
yards.
Yeah, I could have
how
been
far
80.
was it? It was like a 50-yarder. We were at midfield.
Yeah, we were like,
Maybe even on.
yeah, maybe even on
on
the
our-
40.
yeah.
Yeah.
Frank dialed it up perfectly. So a minute 14 left in the third. Tie this thing up 6-6. Can't move the ball on him
Wait,
on the
wait,
ground.
Coach, walk us through the screenplay.
Yes.
Why did you call that play at that time?
No tangenting, or just do you want
Yeah,
the
we
whole?
want the answer. We don't want to know about fundamental. Why did you call this play?
Because these guys were running that 6 front. They were hitting every gap, and they were coming across the line of scrimmage. Linebackers were coming forward. So when we ran that middle screen, I noticed that these guys. I ran it in the second quarter, and I go, "Oh my God, we just didn't execute the play." And I said, "Okay, I got to hold this." We had to get through NPR, get all the other players played, and that left us with 3 DBs. You know, they were playing a cover 3. So once they continued to just come through every gap, and then we just held it for the right time. And when we ran that screen, they were all they didn't hold up. They were coming across that line of scrimmage, so we caught them.
Great play by Talfa to get it off.
Yes,
Because it
great.
got tipped a couple times. I believe this one even got tipped, and another great catch by Steven Aros to catch the deflected ball.
Yep,
He had a great cutback. It was a great run.
yep.
He skinnied up a guy, meaning he attacked him, gave himself a two-way go, and then cut back on a guy. It was a really great play.
Stephen played too at Menlo. He
Yeah.
went and played. Stephen was a great ball player, great kid.
Heck of a
Great
play here by Steve to tie this thing up. And it's, as we mentioned earlier, the rules with extra points and point after attempts. Couldn't run the ball very well on these guys. Couldn't throw the ball very well. We got to back up. So Frank elects to kick the extra point, which is worth 2 points.
2 points.
And this thing,
Well, hold on, walk us through this 2-point kick.
I'll walk us. So I'll tell you guys, we weren't running the ball well. So we said, okay, we had Christopher Reese. He would like run a full speed and kick the ball with his toe, full speed. It was like, but he did it like 7 out of 10 times. I mean, he did it. It was ugly, but it worked. And my mother died in July, Jules' grandmother. And so the reason I bring that up is weird things happen, you know, like Brett Favre, the night he threw 5 touchdown passes against the Raiders. You know how weird things happen. You know how the Patriots came back and one is all the moons align, that weird stuff that happens in sports. I'm telling you, it happens. And we went to elect to kick the ball. That ball hit the right upright, boom, and dinged in. And I swear to this day, it was my mom saying, honey, you're going to win, and knocked that ball in. But that's what happened, and we scored.
up 8-6. The score would stay that way until the very final whistle of this game, but it was saved by a Jules one-handed interception with 5 minutes left in the game. After that, we ran the clock out. The defense made a great stand, and this thing ends 8-6. And we go on to beat the Oak Cliff R words in the in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Naperville.
we
This
beat
was-
Naperville here, and then on the Super
Yeah, we
Bowl.
played 2 R words.
Yeah, we
Back to
played
back.
2 hard words.
Do you remember that interception?
I didn't remember it until I saw it. on-
Neither did I.
Now, but then I kind of remembered it when I saw it.
It jogged your memory.
Because then I remember like I didn't really play a great game. They were pretty like all over us in the run game. But then it clicked that I remember after the game, like a lot of guys made good plays in certain situations. Like Eric Moreno had a big tackle on a punt that got him all the way back. Steven had like insane punts, big play. I remember EJ Sal had he had an interception. Didn't he? EJ have an interception? Or
No.
He had like a
Great.
big play.
Big plays. I know I'm a homer. I know I'm a dad.
Full
On dad, right? But I got to tell you something. Every athlete has a big play moment. And some guys make that big play in the big game, in the big moment. And other guys don't make that big play.
Now you see why we used to fight, because you used to try
In
to
the
do this
big
shit to
moment.
me all the time.
Right?
And I would just say, like, can you get to the point? Like, let's go.
Well, again, you made the big interception. 2 minutes left in the game. They were down inside our 20, weren't they?
Yep. Yeah, but this is a team sport.
It is a team sport, but somebody's got to make the big play.
Steven Aros did when he made a touchdown, 65-yarder.
Championship teams have more than one.
All right. Little league dad.
Okay.
Homer.
I know you like to downplay yourself, but my job as a parent is to upplay you. That's it.
So it's wrapped up. Jack said
8-6 final score.
and then you went on to go to the Super Bowl, which you won. This is very similar to the Miracle on Ice, where you had to beat the Russians in the semifinal game to get to the gold medal game.
Yeah, and the team we played, they were Texas team. They were fast, and they were really big. They were good. Fortunately, maybe
undisciplined.
they were just a little undisciplined, and we beat them 22-0.
The aftermath of this game, Pops, we go on and we beat Naperville 8-6. RC, our team goes on to win the Pee Wee Super Bowl championship, Super Bowl against the Oak Cliff R-Words Texas team. We beat them 22-0. How did we celebrate this game? Do you remember?
No, yeah, if you remember, it was like we were up in the hotel room, and do you remember what's Tupalotu?
Sony's dad,
Pakalani. And he was out front having a couple cocktails, and all you heard was him going, ah! Remember how he used to laugh? Yeah. So the Tongans were up there having fun.
And Samoans.
Yeah, and Samoans. Yeah, the Tongans and Samoans were having all the fun, and we were just enjoyed watching them. So that was pretty much it. It was great. It was just awesome.
Didn't we go on we went to a water park afterwards or something?
Oh, that's right. You are right. We went to New York.
Epcot thing.
The Epcot, New York City, and it was snowing. They had the snow going. You remember that?
I don't.
They had great food. It was like we were in the downtown New York, and we got to walk down that street. It was awesome. Yeah, that's right.
You celebrated by going to Epcot?
Well, we did go to Epcot, but there's a place in Disney World where they do filming. It's kind of like Hollywood. And so they have streets of New York or streets of Chicago.
They shut out the thing for us? The whole
yeah,
Pop Warner?
the whole Pop Warner was shut off, and we were
Cool.
all in there, and there was food up and down the streets, and they had it snowing, and it was really amazing, actually.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
Imagine being with all your friends when you're 12 years old, missing a week of school, going to Disneyland, playing a couple Disney World, play a couple football games.
And you got Christmas break coming up.
And we had Christmas
We
break
are
coming
living.
up.
Yeah.
You guys got a week off of school for this?
Well, we didn't. We took a week off.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
Got to get the body ready. Got to get down there, walkthroughs, everything. Need a week off. What do you say when you win a Super Bowl, but you're already at Disney World? We're staying at Disney World.
We won Disney World.
Now, if you would have had the film of Naperville, what coaching change would you have made? What adjustment would you have adjusted?
Well, I would have definitely, familiarized our team with that six front. I'm not really sure. I'd have to watch it on film. I never really played a lot of six fronts. Everyone down in our area was all pretty much five fronts or 4-4s, but those outside men were off the ball, or they'd widen them up, and we'd have big, 4 gaps, big 3 gaps, 3 holes and 4 holes. But I don't know. I'd have to study it.
What was the score of the Super Bowl, the actual game against Oak Cliff?
22-0.
22-0.
22.
So this was the Super Bowl of Naperville.
Yeah, it kind
This
of
week.
was. Yeah.
It's like when the Patriots used to play the Colts in the AFC Championship game.
Or kind of like when the Patriots played the Kansas City Chiefs, but still, it was a close game. And that's
It'd probably be the other way around because Naperville had already been there. We weren't the Patriots. We were the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then finally they came over. We only did it once.
You guys never went back? This is the 1 year?
Yeah.
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 I moved up with Jules. When Jules went up, I went up and coached the junior midgets with Coach Guida. And then I became the head coach of the midgets. And we got knocked out by Oak Grove. We got to the final game again with our team, with this team. He was way
Who's
better.
he?
Tyrell. Tyrell was he had 3 or 4 national championships at the midget level. Midget level's tough. That's 13, 14. But remember when you played them?
Yeah, they whooped us.
They whooped us. They had 8 older lighters. 14.
They had guys driving to it.
Yeah, I mean, they were 14, but they had hair on their face.
No, you could be 15 in midget.
No, it was 14. It was
15.
13, 14.
13, 14?
Yeah, 13, 14.
Did you end up playing with, I know we talked about Spence, but anyone else from this Redwood City team that you play high school with or played further along?
A lot of the midget players went to Woodside.
I don't remember the midget team much.
Yeah, I kind of.
A lot of guys went to Sequoia too.
Yeah.
Remember Zataran went to Sequoia.
Yeah, who was on the
Sam Alapate. Sam.
Yeah,
Shout out, Sam.
Alapate and
Sam, he whooped my ass in high school and when we were 12 and when we were 8.
yeah. I'm sure it had nothing to do with your mouth.
Frank, where does this game rank among your favorite games of all time?
I would say Naperville. Our favorite game of all time was when I finally beat Sunnyvale. That was our biggest game.
What was that, coach?
Dolph for Sunnyvale. He was a great coach. The Sunnyvale Rockets were
That
one
was
of
the Black
best
Knights
teams.
in Pee Wee.
That's right, the Black Knights.
Rockets were the
Sunnyvale.
midget.
Yeah.
Or I don't
Junior
know what they
midgets.
call it anymore.
Junior midgets. Yeah. No, it took me 4 years to beat him. He beat me every year in the playoffs.
I had coached the Ting boys.
Yeah, the 2 Tings.
They were twins.
At USC?
And they went to USC.
They
Oh,
went
that's
to
right.
USC.
They were like the baddest little dudes.
They were, and he was a quarterback. We used to throw the ball a lot with him.
Brandon and Ryan.
Brandon and Ryan, they were little studs. Yeah, they were studs. And we used to throw the ball, I'd say 12, 13 times. I'd always hit my backs. Those guys were good. They were real good and real smart.
They were quick.
Yeah.
And they were athletic as hell.
Yeah, they were ding, 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 ding. What is that, Jack?
Oh, that is another one.
That's 8.
Put it in the pot. $800.
$800.
$800.
Rich Eisen for
Shout
you.
out Rich, baby.
What's the fun for?
St.
St.
Jude's.
St. Jude's.
Marlo
St.
Thomas,
Jude's.
Danny Thomas,
It's for St. Jude's.
St. Jude's.
Yeah, that's
Love
that.
Rich, but
No,
the integrity score, we just had an integrity episode. The score kind of got me with the.
I'm glad Frank said something. I'm so numb to it at this point. I didn't even hear my alarm bells didn't even go off.
that should be a thing, Coast, for Rich. Every time somebody swears on this podcast, we should donate money to St. Jude.
I like that.
What a great.
Is that why you've been trying to get us to eat
You know,
leftovers?
No, it's on my reminders. I wanted it. I just when I see that commercial, I just cry, literally. And the things we have so many good people in this world, and that's just a wonderful place. If your child was sick, it's just it's just awesome.
St. Jude's.
I'm with you,
Hospital. Where
Frank.
is that?
I think they're everywhere.
Everywhere?
Yeah,
The
I
big
think
one's
that-
in Memphis, I believe.
kind of St. Jude's and Shriners. I think there's more Shriners in San Francisco, but similar, I think.
Dang, man, I'm about to tear up just thinking about it.
Yeah.
What's the importance of youth sports for kids and the generations and the youth? What do you think kids get out of youth sports?
I always thought a bored mind was a wandering mind. And I think it's important to keep your kids active and involved, whether it be sports, whether it be dancing, whether it be chess, whether it be booger picking. I don't really care what you're going to do. Whatever you do it well, practice it, and get good at it, and involve yourself. That's what I think is important. Youth sports, we were a competitive group. We played like the higher levels. It's not for everybody, but as long as we're moving our body, we're being active, we're thinking, we're learning competition. I think competition, you got to have a loser in a competition. So, there's really no loser, right?
Why do you have to have a loser in competition?
Because you got to have a winner.
Why?
It's just the way it is.
No, it's because you got to teach kids the failures of the future that they're going to have, that it's okay to fail.
That's very well said. Thank you, son. Yes.
It's okay to fail, and you're going to fail, but you need to know that you're going to fail.
Right. Well said. I just think it's important, and I don't think as long as you're applying yourself and you're doing something, even if you do lose, you're still a winner. You're still competing. So I think those are important things for children and everybody.
Losing is only a failure if you don't learn from it.
Yeah.
Wise.
Well said.
And then so I played youth football around this time. I've always been adamant about youth football because it taught me shit. Oh fuck. God damn it.
We have to repeat.
It taught me things I never was able
11.
to learn at school. Like, so can you, as someone who's been around a lot of young men and women learning and playing football, like what things do football, how does football and youth football specifically help make better people?
Wow. Well, we coached, Jules, I coached Little League and I coached football. Football was our main sport. But, football, it's man on man or human on human, and you really learn if you're mano on mano and you apply yourself with every ounce of your energy fighting for that 1 yard, you really learn what hard work is. You really learn what achievement is by utilizing your body, your mind to achieve that goal. That, football, it was just like, every 10 yards is not a lot, but it really is in football to try to pick up that first down. That was always the great thing about football for me. Just the effort you have to put in to gain that inch. And if you do gain it, you learn something from it.
So that makes better young men?
Yeah, I think what it makes is they understand how far they can apply themselves.
Working together.
Setting goals, sacrificing, learning
Responsibility
accountability
towards each other.
Like those are the things you learn.
Yeah.
And I got one more sap.
Being yelled at.
You're making me tear up over here.
So I got another sap one for you. So in this episode, we've saw how much time and energy and importance you put on youth sports. You were president of a youth football program, and your son obviously went on to have a great football career. Not everyone gets to do that. Not every kid in that program. What was it like for you as a parent to, put all this time and energy with your kids and your family and see, your son go off and do what he aspired to do? How did that come from your perspective, and how did that make you feel?
It's tough. It's the hard work they put in. You always want to win, right? And we just talked about winning and losing. But you learn, about winning and losing. But when it's your own child and the media and, when everybody's watching and they start criticizing your child, or if your child gets nicked up, or if your child fails or makes a mistake, it hurts. There was times in Julian's career where his mother and his sister would shut the drapes on game day. We wouldn't let anybody over because there was always it first started out as a party. Everybody was coming over and you're having a good time. Not me. And then, once Jules would get dinged up, it's like, okay, you guys all got to go out, gone. See you later. Bye. And so that was like game one. And then, as he grew up in the professional level, we stopped having friends over because it's just complete anguish, and I thought we were weird until I went to my first game in New England. They put us in where the parents section is. And I was with my oldest son, Jason, and mom, and can't remember if Nick was there. And we thought we were weird because me and my wife would not sit together. She'd sit over there, I'd sit over there because we'd just fight. And so when we got in the stands, everybody was the same. Every parent, it was like, we were like, I don't want to be that guy. He better not make a mistake. Oh God, I hope he doesn't get hurt. Oh my God. We like, hey, we're normal. Every parent thinks the same way. And if you don't have a kid playing pro ball, you just don't know. And shut up. Shame on you. You know, mom and dad, brother and sister, family members, they go, it is hard. And it's heartbreaking and it's jubilation. I was fortunate. We won 3 Super Bowls. We played with Brady, Gronk, all those guys. I mean, it's more than you can imagine. And then, you know, Jules turning his career into what it was. Unbelievable.
Any leftover questions, Jack?
Man, based on that one, picking up where Frank left off there, Frank, I've seen the BTS footage here, so I have a little bit of an idea. But to piggyback off that last point, what was that feeling like running down from the stands, down through the tunnel at Mercedes-Benz Stadium there in Atlanta, once you had just found out Jules won MVP, and you're running out on it like...
After he ran into Urban Meyer.
I did. I ran into Urban Meyer. I was running down. I think I was hobbling. Did I have my hip done after that? Yeah, I think my hip was messed up. I couldn't barely walk, let alone run. And we were running down, and I was always an Urban Meyer fan. I really liked him when he was at Bowling Green because we were in the MAC, and that kind of, you know,
you didn't recruit me.
No, I get it. I get it.
But the ultimate Mac daddy.
He asked me to come. He asked me to come talk to the team. I go, why would I come talk to your Ohio State team? I didn't go to Ohio State.
We went to Kent State.
Baby. Yeah, I went to Kent State, bro.
You had 5 racks of Ohio State, 1 little spot for Cleveland, and there was 1 jersey over there at Kent State. I always remember that going to Cleveland.
What?
When you were playing at Kent, when you walk into a store to see memorabilia of the Cincinnati Bengals or the Cleveland Browns, you couldn't find it. There was 1 little spot. The whole shelves were all full of Ohio State.
Everything.
Ohio State.
Never seen that.
Yeah, I never seen it. It's like in Redwood City, it's like 49ers everywhere. Patriots.
We're pro town area.
Yeah.
We had Cal Stanford, which
you
go down to the south, you go to Ohio, you go to Michigan. I mean, those
Walmart
people
in
love
Tuscaloosa.
Oh my God,
they love it. I was like, Ohio State.
So when down in the bowels of the stadium, getting on the field, Super Bowl 53.
Urban Meyer going
Yeah,
down.
we were driving by. I go, Urban.
You're feeling.
Yeah, I was running down, and I go, Urban Meyer, how you doing? I'm Edelman's dad. And he goes, oh, great player. You know, we shook hands. That's the only way you can get in with these guys. If I pop, Jules' name, and then they're always cool. I'll tell you, it wasn't unexpected. Jules has always, I know I'm his dad, and I've been heckling you about all this stuff, but the truth is he always seemed to come through in the biggest moments and the biggest games. He's just, that's just the way it was.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love it. And one last leftover question that we didn't get to. We touched on one of the great Frankisms at the beginning of this show. When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you're rot. Are there any other great Frankisms that come to mind that we need to tell the people?
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of 27 years ago when Jules was playing, when he was a little feller. I would always try to be a step ahead of him. So I would study isms. I would look for something to say. I always had to have something ready because Jules was kind of a rascal. And so I always had to be an inch ahead of him. And I'll tell you, I always hated this. We almost had a shot to go to the bowl game at Kent. And Coach Martin let Jules come home. We had a 2-week break before the bowl game, or a 4-week break. Yeah. And Coach let Jules come home for a week, because they had this great season. Winning 6 games at Kent was like unbelievable, right? And when he came home, him and Kurt were downstairs, and there was a lot, like I said earlier, nothing good happens after 12. Well, it's my boy. And I said, Jules, you do realize that drinking on Thursdays causes flub snaps on Saturdays. So, remember that one, Jules?
Yeah.
So I
like that one.
I always had to come up with little isms. And the reason is to try to keep my boy
one step
head
ahead
straight,
of the rascal.
try to be ahead of him.
Jules, do you have a favorite one?
When we were like real young, like 10, I just remember my dad saying, adjust, adapt, or die.
Yeah.
That one
Not
survives.
overcome. Or die.
What's the bird cage?
Oh.
Yesterday's news is in the bottom of a bird cage. What do you do with it? You throw it away.
No, you put it on the bottom of a bird cage so it gets shit on.
Yeah.
You think that's good? That was yesterday. It's
Yeah,
like old
yeah.
newspaper. You put it on the bottom of the bird cage and get shit on.
I love it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Heck yeah.
Jack, we miss anything?
We were pretty darn good. Had to get those in. Shout out to Oak Grove, Oak Cliff, Oak Grove,
Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff, Texas.
Yes.
Home of our former guest, Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon
Just had to
Martin.
give him a little shout out there.
Big football guy, too.
Big
He's
football guy. Big football guy. A lot
Talked
of
about
Oaks in
that.
this episode. It got me
Talked
confused
about
there.
that.
But yeah, great episode. It was really, really, really darn cool to finally get
I
Frank
think
in
the
here.
name's got to be,
I think it's got to be it has to do with Redwood City.
yeah, it's got to be Simply the Best Game or something. That was
That was our song. Yeah.
my dad used to throw that on after wins. Tina Turner, Simply the Best. You're simply the best.
Yeah. And then the champions. When we won the champion, we play the Queen song.
Yeah.
We are the champions.
Simply the Best Game.
I love that.
Not this one's for Frank.
This one.
No, that has nothing to do with me. These guys did it all. It was awesome.
The Simply the Best Game. The Simply the Best Game.
Simply the best game.
Simply the Best Game.
Simply the best.
Not the. Yeah, take the out of there.
Okay.
So we got the new scoring system. We let the guests give their scores. Let's score the game. Is this the greatest game of all time? Let's score it. Pops, 0 to 10. Decimals okay. 0 being terrible, 10 being perfect.
I'll go 7-5.
What are the stakes of this game?
Okay.
Stakes.
The stakes of this game were high. You know, the stakes of the game was the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know if you can get much higher than that. So I got to go at 10. You know, I mean, right? I mean,
10?
Well, you lose, you go home. You win, you go to the Super Bowl. It's
I
the
like
NFC AFC championship game.
10.
Yeah.
It's not the Super Bowl.
It's not the Super Bowl, but for us, it was.
Okay. Jules, you still have to score too.
For me, I got to give it a 9 flat.
9 flat. Okay.
Star power, Dad, 0 to 10.
Well, we got one NFL player in there,
Yeah.
you know. So I'll go star power. You know, we'll go 7-5.
5 higher than hockey games. Okay. Professional hockey games. All right. Jules, you got to do star power
Oh,
too.
star power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like a 3, Dad.
Okay.
It's 2. I'm only worth 2 points.
Okay.
2. Give me a 2.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
A lot of Redwood City legends, but I mean, we've had Super Bowls.
You want a
We've
2?
had- we had 10 Hall of Famers on a field.
Yeah. Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl gameplay, Dad, 0 to 10.
I'll go 7-5.
7-5.
Yeah.
It was a defensive battle. There was good interceptions, good special teams.
You know, a doink kick.
The doink.
Yes.
kick.
The single doink.
The single doink game could have been.
I'll go 7.3. The name of the game, Simply the Best
So I have to. Yeah, I'll go. That's a great name. Simply the best,
Game.
right? Simply the best game. I'll go 7-5.
I'll go 7.5 too, Dad. 5.7. That's still respectable. It's
Okay.
a Pop Warner game.
With Pop Warner game, we're respectable.
We're
It's
right in there.
respectable.
Yeah,
Where does
we're
that
above
put us?
500.
5.7. That puts
Where'd
us
it put us?
just ahead of the 2014 TBT final. Team Barstool versus the Notre Dame alums. That is it.
Okay, that's where we should be.
Yeah. And then right
And then
ahead
those
of it
two
is
would get
the
bumped down.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
49th. Thanks for the correction,
2014
Guy.
NLDS Game 2 Giants versus Nationals. It's okay.
It's
That
good.
feels right. That feels right.
Yeah,
This
we
feels
should
right.
be above
Scoring system.
Barstool. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
alum.
Scoring
You know,
system
new
is working.
scoring
Big
system.
belly players, whatever they are.
Big cat in the starfish jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
We miss anything, Pops?
Yeah, we did miss one thing. Do you remember when we went out and practiced after the Naperville game? We went out and practiced in the parking lot. We did a walkthrough in the parking lot for like 3 hours.
The Walt Disney World
Coach
parking
Edelman
lot.
was like, "We're gonna do this over and over again." I think I may have got something on the
Oak Cliff.
Texas team, and I was out there. We were trying to get you guys up to par on it.
What's his name? Probably gave you the commish.
What was-
Commish probably gave you some intel.
Yeah, I probably got some intel.
You want to plug anything? Podcast?
You want to plug anything, Pops?
No, I think we've been plugging.
Wait. How's retirement going? You retired?
Yeah, not real. I don't really know. You keep me busy, so your businesses keep me busy. I appreciate you letting me work with you, and no, serious. But closing A1,
put that shirt down. That
little belly showing.
What do they call it? A dick do?
Dick do. Oop. Okay, that's not a bad word. That's a Richard do.
We're safe. We're safe.
No, it's funny. It's been in my reminders, St. Jude's, and it really had nothing to do with the Rich Eisen thing. It really had to do with those commercials and Marlo Thomas and her dad. It would that's just stuck in my head when you're our age. So I think we've plugged that pretty good. How much money did we make them?
We made the St. Jude's Children's Hospital $1,100.
$1,100.
Let's go, baby.
Good
Let's go.
Good job, guys.
It pays to swear.
All right. We're done with the show, Dad, but we usually don't do this. We usually don't keep, the guest on when we do post-segment shows, but since you're Pops and you're staying at the house,
Yeah.
I can't kick you out.
Okay, gotcha.
So why don't you stick around? We're going to hit the hotline together.
Okay.
This is fans that call in. And remember, fans, call the number 424-291-2290. Let's get into it.
Hey, Julian. A while ago on the Games with Name podcast, you said for people to leave questions and things for Frank. But I'd like to leave something for both your father and your mother. I would like to thank them both for raising the family that they did, because not only did they change one life, but they changed many. So please thank them both for me. Thanks. Bye.
Is that a question?
Just a
Well,
heartfelt
we thank you. That was awful nice. We thank you. We hope I can't talk either. I hope we've done well for you.
Hi, this is Nikki. My question is for when you have Frank on. I was just wondering either what moment or what part of Julian's career is Dad's most proud of. Great episodes lately. Look forward to them each week. Thanks, guys.
It's a funny thing when your child becomes a professional athlete. You have moment after moment.
How many times we say
after
that?
moment? I don't mean to say it, but it's a repeatable statement to say. There's just been so
What's
many of
one
them.
moment that makes you proud, Dad? One moment. Just answer the question.
I would say
Super Bowl 49.
no, I'll be honest with you. I would say his first game against the Philadelphia Eagles when he ran his touchdown back in the punt return.
The Wally Pip gas.
I'll tear up. So
You'll make me cry.
So there you go.
Hi, this message is
That was
for
it.
Frank. Back in 2012, when Julian did the speaker series at the Patriots Hall of Fame, that was the very first time I heard when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. And so I just wanted to thank you for that quote. Bye.
Whose quote was that?
You're very welcome. That quote was given to me by one of our assistant coaches, Carl Austin. Carl, shout out to you, buddy. I appreciate it. Actually, he was the head coach, and then I took the team after Carl did.
Coach Carl Austin.
Coach Carl Austin, great guy.
He was like a general manager at a bunch of McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'd roll up there and like, yo, is Carl there? He'd always give me some burger bucks. He was tight.
Shout out to Crazy Carl.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Shane from New York. Originally from New Hampshire, big Patriots fan. Just wanted to call and ask Frank what the hardest part and the easiest part was of raising an elite athlete, obviously specifically Julian. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hardest part.
The hardest part, it was just trying to keep his mind focused. But with that said, he always had his mind focused. Julian knew what he wanted to be. So they're really just keeping him on the straight and narrow was really the hardest thing. Keeping his grades up,
Jesus, I had a 3.5.
Yeah, I mean that it really
What's
was.
that's the hardest thing.
No, yeah,
Not
yeah.
like watching your son get hit, or like watching me go through ACL surgery, or watching me having a concussion. It's trying to keep me on the straight and narrow.
Well,
Jesus Christ, what's on your mind, Bubs?
I took it more as getting there, not being there.
Well, just in general, what's the question?
Well, all those things were horrible. That was the injuries. I didn't want to bring that up. Okay, I don't want to discourage things. Injuries are the worst. They're horrible.
And what's the best?
Winning. Anytime you win, it's awesome.
What's up, Frank and Jules? So we heard the story about Julian charging the mound before a game. How did that leave you feeling, Frank? What were the emotions like? How'd you deal with your son being a little hot-headed, charging the mound on you? Peace out.
I felt horrible because we were bantering back and forth, and I threw the ball inside. We were in the Babe Ruth just before a game. We were going to have batting practice, and he had braces on. He says I hit him. I didn't hit him. He's embellishing. So when I threw the ball on the inside of the plate, and he was dropping his shoulder, he was slapping it. He was being a rascal, and so we got into some bantering, and he finally charged him out, and I grabbed his arms, and he was rocking his head back and forth, and he bit himself with those braces, and blood was all over his.
No way.
Yeah, blood was all over his shirt.
You hit me.
I did not. And when he went to the game, I just felt horrible. But I'll be honest, that's what we did. I mean, the bad news Edelmans. That's everybody. I wasn't hiding from it. People would drive by where we would go look for fields to practice, and that's just what we did.
People would drive by and what?
They'd look and they'd call me, "Hey, Frank, you're throwing that ball awful hard to that little guy." And I'd say, "Yeah, I know." But that's probably why I couldn't hit a curveball. I was pitching him too much heat. But
So, Frank, during this quote-unquote banter that led to a charging of the mound incident, how much money would you have to have donated to St. Jude's?
Well, yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, we were all kind of bad, all the coaches out there at that time. It was kind of like okay. But I would try to do it. You really try to do it in a huddle when the guys, because the kids liked it. But you couldn't do it really as being angry. You had to do it more of a joke angry. You know what I mean? Like, you little rascals, but you wouldn't use that word.
You say little fuckers?
Ding, 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 ding.
1200.
Times have changed. But I'll be honest with you. I promise you, anybody out there that is competing at the higher levels at youth sports, I promise you they're saying the same thing. Don't be that naive.
Hi, I was so happy to see on the Games with Names storyline that Frank is going to be making a debut. All this time, ever since you guys started this, I always wanted to ask him if he were to pick his favorite game out of Julian's career, the best game, which one would it be? He's the best. Thanks. Bye.
Favorite game?
Yeah, I got to go the Seattle Super Bowl. Yeah, that was the first one in. That was kind of like Jules's breakthrough game for me. There was a couple games before that, but that was a touchdown pass catch in the Super Bowl was big. And, we all knew what we signed up for, and we knew what Jules had to do, and Jules knew what he had to do. And that catch with Cam Chancellor over the middle of the 3rd and 14, that's my favorite catch, and that's my favorite game.
Well, there you go.
Can't argue with that.
That's the fans.
Well, that was fun. What a game. What an experience. Thanks again to my dad, Francis Joseph Edelman. That's been another episode of Games with Names. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Comment a game you want us to do. And remember,
Rate and review.
Remember to follow Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. Leave a message on the hotline bling at 424-291-2290. See you guys next week. Games with Names is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.